The gym buzzed with nerves and fake smiles. Blonde ponytails bounced, glittered uniforms sparkled, and whispers moved faster than the cheer list. Ayana stood still near the back, tall, poised, skin glowing under the harsh ceiling lights. She didn't look nervous, but her fingers were pressed tight into her thighs. Coach Danvers held the clipboard like it was the Constitution. "All right, ladies, this year's official Eagle High cheer squad is—" The white girls in the front leaned forward like their lives depended on it. Ayana kept her eyes straight ahead. Her braids were tied up in a clean bun. Her shoes weren't the usual spotless cheer kicks. They were black tactical boots, polished enough to reflect the light. She wore them for her mom, and because her dad taught her to always keep her footing solid. "Jessica Barnes! Rachel Simmons!" Every name called was met with shrieks and hugs and bouncy applause. "And Ayana Brooks." Silence. Then one forced clap. Another. Ayana didn't move. Her face didn't change. She just nodded once and stepped forward. Someone in the back whispered, "Seriously?" Another girl said louder, "She doesn't even look like a real Eagle cheerleader." Ayana kept walking like she didn't hear it, but her jaw clenched for a split second. In the bleachers, a group of football players watched the scene unfold. Jake McConnell, the quarterback, elbowed his friend and muttered, "Diversity pick." "Gotta love it." Cody laughed. "At least she won't last till homecoming." "She only got in because of diversity," a girl near the water coolers laughed, not even hiding it. Ayana stood at the front now, next to girls who didn't touch her, didn't look her way. Coach Danvers cleared his throat. "Congrats, team. Practice starts tomorrow. Be ready." The girls huddled into their groups, taking selfies, hugging, posing like they'd just won the Super Bowl. Ayana stepped back slowly, giving them space, walking toward the locker room alone. Jake's voice followed her. "Hope she learns the routines faster than she learned how to belong." She didn't look back. Inside the locker room, the lights buzzed overhead. She sat on the bench, pulled off one boot at a time, unzipped her hoodie. She looked at herself in the mirror. Brown skin, strong shoulders, focused eyes. Her mom's necklace hung low on her collarbone. She touched it lightly. Outside, the other girls squealed. "We should do matching scrunchies. Pink or blue? OMG, let's not match with her." Ayana zipped her bag and stood up. She wasn't here for them. She walked down the back hallway toward the exit, passing the trophy case. Her reflection stared back at her. The only black girl on that list. And probably the only one with a father who still flew out in uniform every few months. A father who taught her to fight without fists, to endure without cracking. As she pushed open the back doors and the evening light hit her face, her eyes were calm. But inside, something had shifted. What they didn't know was who trained her. Her dad wasn't just a soldier. He was still active. And he'd been watching. The street outside Eagle High was lined with pickup trucks, brick homes, and American flags on plastic poles. Ayana walked with her backpack slung tight, her cheer paper still folded in her hand. A few boys in jerseys sped past in a Dodge Charger, music blasting. One of them shouted something she couldn't hear, but the laughter told her enough. She kept walking. At the corner, her dad's truck was already waiting. Matte black, parked like a soldier. She opened the door and climbed in without saying a word. Sergeant Darnell Brooks didn't speak either. Not yet. He just glanced at her once, then started driving. The car smelled like leather, coffee, and the faint scent of metal oil. His military ID still hung from the rear view. His face, as usual, unreadable. He pulled into their driveway, the only house on the street without a flag or political sign on the lawn. Quiet. Clean. Their own. Inside, the air felt heavier. Her mom's photo still sat on the kitchen shelf, smiling from another life. "Leftovers in the oven," her dad said, sitting down at the table and flipping open his laptop. His voice was always calm, too calm sometimes. Ayanna opened the oven, took out the plate of baked chicken and green beans, and sat across from him. He didn't look up. "Cheer squad?" he asked after a long pause. "I made it," she said flatly. He nodded once. "Proud of you." "They're not." He stopped typing. She kept eating slowly, eyes on her plate. They clapped like they were forced. Some didn't even bother. "You earned your place," he said. "What they think is noise." "I heard one of them say I only got in for diversity." He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, watching her now. "Are they right?" he asked, testing her. Ayanna looked up. "No." "Then don't flinch." "I didn't." He gave a tiny, almost invisible nod. "That's my girl." She didn't cry. Wouldn't. Not over this. Not in front of him. But her hands were tense. Her teeth pressed against each other so hard it ached. "You'll learn the routines?" he asked. "Already started practicing last week, before tryouts." "Good. Stay ahead of them. Let them hate your shadow." The silence returned. Ayanna stood and washed her plate. The faucet ran loud. The light buzzed overhead. Her dad closed his laptop and pulled out a photo album. From the drawer. The one he never opened unless he meant to say something. She walked over quietly. He flipped it open to a photo from 10 years ago. Her mother in uniform. Him beside her. Ayanna on his shoulders. "You remember when your mom made it through airborne?" "Yeah," she said. "She was one of 5 women, 2 of them black. They trashed her locker. Didn't want her there." "What did she do?" He smiled softly. "Graduated top of her class, then got invited back to teach." Ayanna blinked, then nodded. "Sounds like her." He closed the album. "You don't owe them anything but your excellence." "I know." "You don't need their approval." "I don't want it." He finally stood up, walked over, put his hand on her shoulder. "You're going to outwork them, outlast them. And when the time comes, I'll make them wish they had shut up when they had the chance," she finished. He grinned, that rare smile. "Now you're thinking like a Brooks." Outside, the neighborhood lights flickered on. The houses glowed in rows. But in the Brooks household, something else had started to glow too. A plan. Monday morning came cold and sharp. Ayanna's alarm rang at 5:30 a.m. By 6, she was already dressed, boots laced tight, stretching in her bedroom like her father taught her. 30 seconds to clear her head. Breathe in. Breathe out. Face the enemy like it's just another drill. By 7:45, she was at school. The first sign something was off hit her when she reached her locker. The combination lock was open. She never left it unlocked. Her books weren't missing, but they were rearranged. Her math binder was upside down. Her pencil case open. One of her pens snapped in half and left ink splattered on the top shelf. She turned slowly, scanned the hallway. 3 lockers down, Jake McConnell leaned against his own, grinning while pretending to chat with a sophomore girl. His eyes flicked over to Ayanna, held for a second too long, then looked away, like nothing happened. She didn't say a word, just cleaned up the mess. Third period, things got worse. Whispers followed her down the hallway. She doesn't belong here. Coach must have been desperate. They're probably scared to cut her. Affirmative action on pom-poms. She heard every word. Pretended not to. In AP English, the teacher asked for volunteers to read out loud. No one raised a hand. Until she did. Half the class rolled their eyes. One boy muttered, "Here comes the Morgan Freeman audition." Her throat tightened, but she read every line. Clear, confident, strong. Like her dad had taught her. When they try to laugh, make them choke on it. At lunch, she sat with the same 4 girls from Honor Society. They'd been friends since middle school, quiet, nerdy, drama-free. But today, they felt distant. Jessica glanced at Ayana's tray. "No lunch today?" "I wasn't hungry," Ayana said. Truth was, she had packed lunch. It just wasn't there anymore. She found the empty container dumped in a hallway trash can later. Lid off. Fork snapped. "Maybe it spilled," one of the girls suggested. "Or maybe it got stolen," Ayana replied. Jessica didn't argue, but she didn't defend her either. As they walked back toward class, a football player passed too close. His shoulder hit Ayana's bag and made her stumble. "Oops," said Carson Vick, linebacker, 6'3", smile like a hungry wolf. He didn't stop, didn't even look back. Her friends just blinked. "You okay?" one whispered. "I'm good," she said. But inside, her hands were shaking. 7th period brought the real message. During study hall, she got a notification on her phone. Someone tagged her in a post. She tapped it open. It was a screenshot of the school's official cheer team announcement. Her name was circled in red. The caption said, "So, this is what Eagle Pride has come to? Not my cheerleader." Username, RealEagle24. The post had 41 likes, 24 comments. Most weren't slurs, but all of them were poison. "Where's Ashley Martinez? This ain't right." "She ain't even from here, bro." "School gone woke frar." "Watch her get lead spot just to tick a box." Ayana screenshot everything, saved it all, blocked the account, but her hands were cold and damp now. That afternoon at practice, Coach Danvers kept it light. "Basics today, ladies. Formations, footwork, timing." Ayana fell in line, back row, focused, but Brittany Stevens, Jr., blonde curls bouncing, stood right in front of her, and every 2 steps she shifted back, bumping Ayana's space. "Sorry," she whispered with a smile. Still learning. By the end of practice, Ayana had been stepped on twice, elbowed once, and nearly knocked off balance during a high kick. Coach Danvers didn't notice. Brittany winked. As Ayana walked to her car after practice, her phone buzzed. "Dad, how was the first one, Warrior?" She typed, "Fine." Then deleted it. Typed again, "Good. We ran basics. I'm learning fast." Then deleted that too. She finally sent, "We need to talk." She didn't wait for a reply. She reached her car and stopped. Someone had drawn on her back window with a finger in the dust. "Go home." Her pulse slowed. She stared at it for a full minute, then unlocked the door. As she drove home, she played it over and over. The locker, the food, the bump, the Instagram post, the fake apologies, the fake smiles. And now this. She parked, went inside. Her father was already at the table. She didn't speak. just slid her phone across the table. He read the messages, zoomed in on the photos, scrolled through everything. When he looked up, his face had gone cold. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "Then tell me what to do." "Document everything. Time, date, names, but don't strike yet. Let them feel comfortable." "And if they go further?" His voice was like steel. "Then they'll learn why soldiers don't need to raise their voice to end a war." Ayanna sat back. She wasn't crying, but she was no longer quiet either. Saturday morning started before sunrise. Ayanna was already in her workout gear when her dad opened the basement door. He didn't ask if she was ready. He just nodded. The basement wasn't like other basements. The walls were lined with mats. A heavy punching bag swung slowly from the ceiling. Old medals and certificates were framed behind glass on the far wall. A folded flag sat in a shadow box near the corner. "Stretch," he said. She didn't speak, just followed every instruction. He walked in slow circles around her. "Forget what you've seen in movies. This isn't about looking cool. It's about walking away alive. That clear?" "Clear." 3 seconds. That's your window. Identify. Neutralize. Move. He tapped the back of her knee with his boot. She dropped into position. "Good. First rule? Never fight when they expect it." He nodded. "Second? Pain is information. Learn from it. Don't fear it." He cracked the pads on his palms. "Let's begin." She trained for 2 hours. Palm strikes, elbow jabs, targeted pressure, throat, ribs, solar plexus, wrist breaks, ground escapes. Her body hurt. She didn't complain. At breakfast, he placed a notebook in front of her. "I want names, patterns, schedules, everything." She blinked. "Surveillance?" "Intelligence," he corrected. "You don't win wars by being angry. You win them by knowing your enemy better than they know themselves." That night, Ayanna sat in her room with a blank page. She wrote, "Jake McConnell, QB, Park near Gym, 7:45 a.m. Carson Vick, linebacker, cuts through art hallway, fights a lot. Logan Price, follows them, laughs the loudest, always last." By Monday, she had 5 pages. She knew where Jake parked, what hallway Carson skipped, which bathroom Logan hid in during 5th period. She learned who they texted, when they snuck snacks from the vending machine, and which teacher would ignore a hallway scuffle if it happened after 2 p.m. After 3 days, she handed the notebook to her dad. He read every word. "You've been watching." "Like a shadow." He smiled. Not wide, just enough. "Now comes the shift." "What shift?" "Now you use it." That afternoon, she went to cheer practice as usual. Brittany still bumped into her during routines. One of the girls called her Storm Cloud under her breath. Coach Danvers didn't notice, or didn't care. After practice, Ayanna took her time packing up. She watched Jake and his boys standing in the field, laughing about something. They weren't worried. They were sure she was weak. Later that night, she and her father sat at the kitchen table. The lamp above them cast shadows across the blueprints of revenge. "Jake's flaw?" he asked. "Ego," she answered. "What does he value?" "Reputation, football, image, offers from state and Georgia." "Good." "Carson?" "Violence. He leads with aggression." "And Logan?" "Follows the noise, always the sidekick, no spine." Perfect, her father said. She leaned forward. So what do we do? He slid a sealed plastic bag across the table. Inside, a prescription bottle, blank label, loose white pills. Another envelope held screenshots of fake texts from an anonymous number. Meet me behind the gym. Got what you asked. Ayanna stared at the bag. Where did you get this? The nurse's office has poor disposal protocols. These are expired, real, but useless. You want me to plant them? I want you to create a consequence. She was quiet for a long time. He's just a teenager, she whispered. So are you. And he shoved you into the dirt while laughing. She looked down at her fingers, at the faded scratches still healing on her arm. I don't want to ruin his life. You're not. He is. She exhaled slowly, picked up the envelope. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, her father repeated. But it doesn't end there, she said. Carson, Logan, they're next. He smiled again. You've got your mother's fire. Ayanna nodded, but her voice was all steel now. Number, I've got yours. Tuesday morning, Ayanna sat in the front office. Principal Mallory Martinez glanced at her over thin glasses, a lukewarm smile on his face. His office walls were filled with football trophies and framed news articles about past Eagle victories. Not a single cheerleading photo anywhere. So, he said, lacing his fingers, you're saying your locker's been tampered with? There's been tension, rumors. It's not rumors, Ayanna said calmly. It's targeted. Well, I'm not one to jump to conclusions. High school can be a dramatic place, hormones, competition. Someone wrote, "Go home," on my car window. That could have been anything. They threw a banana at me during lunch. Principal Martinez's smile flickered. Look, Ayanna, we value diversity at Eagle, but sometimes blending in takes time. Best thing you can do is keep your head down, stay focused, let this blow over. Her jaw tightened. So I should ignore racism? I'm saying, let's not escalate things. I'll talk to a few students. Just don't make yourself a target. I'm already a target. He glanced at the clock. I think you'll find things calm down soon. As she walked out, she passed Coach Danvers in the hall. Everything all right? He asked. Everything's normal, she replied. He smiled. Good girl. That afternoon, Ayanna didn't go straight to cheer practice. She waited behind the art building, dressed in regular jeans and a hoodie, phone in hand. At exactly 3:28 p.m., Jake walked to his challenger, helmet in one hand, duffel bag in the other. Like clockwork. He opened the driver door, tossed in his gear, and walked away toward the weight room. He didn't lock it. Ayanna waited 10 seconds, then moved. Calm. Precise. Military walk. She opened the passenger door, placed the prescription bottle under the seat, and scattered the loose pills in the cup holder with the fake note folded beside them. Thanks for the hookup. Same time next week? Then she closed the door and walked away like nothing happened. 30 minutes later, a call was made from a blocked number to the school's drug hotline. I saw someone dealing pills out of a black Challenger near the gym. Thought someone should know before they drive home. At 4:37, Principal Martinez and Officer Reed approached the football field. Jake was mid-sprint when they called him over. Morrison, we need to search your vehicle, Officer Reed said. Jake frowned. Why? We received an anonymous tip. Jake scoffed. This is a joke, right? No, son. Keys. Jake hesitated. Coach Reynolds came jogging over. What's going on? Just a precaution, Coach. Inside the car, the officer reached under the passenger seat, pulled out the bottle, then the pills, then the note. Jake's face turned white. I've never seen that before in my life. Principal Martinez looked tense now. Are you saying someone planted it? Yes, I don't use. Ask anyone. That's not the issue, Officer Reed said. Possession is possession. This is insane, Jake said, his voice cracking. This is sabotage. You're suspended pending investigation, Martinez said. We'll notify your parents. But wait, I have scouts coming Friday. This could ruin everything. You should have thought about that before bringing these to school. Jake looked around, panicking. Logan and Carson stood nearby, frozen. From across the field, Ayanna watched with her squad. Madison leaned in. What's happening? Looks like Jake's in trouble, Ayanna said. Drug trouble? Seems like it. Wow, didn't expect that. Ayanna didn't say anything else. She just kept stretching, eyes forward, mouth still. The next morning, the hallways buzzed with whispers. Did you hear about Jake? Suspended. His dad's going ballistic. Scouts backed out already. Dude might lose his scholarship. Ayanna walked past the football table. Carson glared at her. Logan avoided her eyes. She sat down with her usual lunch group. Jessica leaned in. Crazy, right? Ayanna nodded. Yeah. Who knew? She opened her juice box. Smiled, quiet, cold, focused, and ready for Phase 2. The gym was packed. The homecoming game was tonight, and the air buzzed with excitement, nerves, and that familiar smell of popcorn and sweat. Ayanna stood in the locker room, adjusting her uniform. Her cheer shoes had been replaced with borrowed ones, 2 sizes too big. Her uniform skirt was clean, but her heart wasn't. She could hear the crowd roaring through the walls, the football players yelling, the band playing. But in here, it was quiet. She looked around at the other cheerleaders. Some smiled politely, others whispered, and a few just stared. Jake McConnell and his boys were at the front, ready to make their big entrance. Jake's smirk was bigger than ever. Carson cracked his knuckles. Logan looked nervous, like he knew something was coming. Ayanna took a deep breath. This was it. Her phone buzzed. A text from her dad. Remember your training. Control, calm. Strike when it counts. She smiled. The locker room door opened. The coach called out, All right, ladies, last-minute pep talk. Ayanna stepped forward, voice steady. We're not just here to cheer. We're here to show who we are. The room went silent. Jake and his boys laughed. Is this your moment, diversity girl? Jake taunted. Ayanna's eyes locked on his. No, she said quietly. This is mine. The pep rally began. Lights flashed. Music blasted. Ayanna and the squad moved in sync, executing routines flawlessly. But halfway through, something changed. Jake and his boys appeared at the back of the gym, blocking the exit. Ayanna felt a chill. Jake stepped forward. Hey, new girl, he said, voice low but loud enough. Got a message for you. Before she could react, Carson grabbed her left arm. Logan moved to her right. Jake positioned himself in front. The crowd gasped. Whispers turned to shouts. Someone yelled, Stop! But the 3 boys didn't care. They shoved her backward toward the wet floor by the gym entrance. Her sneakers slipped. She fell, uniform skirt catching on a broken tile. Cold water from a spilled drink soaked her clothes. Laughter echoed. "Clumsy," Jake said loudly. Carson snorted. Logan smirked. Ayanna looked up, mud streaked on her face. She swallowed the burning shame. And then the roar of cameras. Phones lit up everywhere. Someone shouted, "This is going on Instagram." She pushed herself up, eyes blazing. "You think this breaks me?" she said loud enough for all to hear. Jake stepped forward again. "Yeah, it does. You don't belong here." Ayanna smiled, cold and sharp. "Watch me." Suddenly, the gym doors burst open. Her dad marched in, uniform crisp, boots clicking on the floor. "Enough." The crowd parted like the sea. Sergeant Darnell Brooks' eyes scanned the boys. "Get your hands off her," he said calmly. Jake snarled. "Who the hell are you?" Her dad pulled out his ID. "Army, here to protect my daughter." The gym was silent. The three boys stepped back. Ayanna's friends rushed to her side, helping her brush off mud and tears. Coach Danvers looked around, wide-eyed. From the back of the room, police officers entered, moving quickly. Officer Martinez nodded at Sergeant Brooks. "This is a crime scene now." Jake tried to argue. His voice broke. "You can't do this." Her dad shook his head. "You crossed a line. Now you face the consequences." Phones kept flashing. Live streams spread fast. The crowd cheered for Ayanna. Her eyes met her dad's. They held steady. The courtroom was packed. Cameras flashed from every angle. Reporters whispered and jotted notes. The tension in the air was electric. Ayanna sat beside her father, dressed simply in a navy blue dress, her hands folded calmly on her lap. Judge Reynolds entered, her robes flowing like a mantle of authority. The defendants, Jake, Carson, and Logan, sat with their lawyers, faces pale, eyes tired. The trial began. The prosecutor rose, voice firm. "Your Honor, this case is about more than a fight. It's about a calculated campaign of racial harassment." She opened a folder thick with evidence, texts, videos, witness statements. "We have shown months of systematic bullying targeted at Miss Brooks solely because of her race." The courtroom murmured. Jake's lawyer tried to object. "This is just teenage behavior blown out of proportion." Judge Reynolds cut him off. "You may not." Ayanna listened as the prosecutor detailed every act: locker vandalism, social media slurs, the staged drug planting, the ambush at homecoming. The evidence was overwhelming. Then the defense called witnesses, trying to paint the boys as misguided teens. Ayanna's father took the stand. His voice was steady, controlled. "My daughter is brave and resilient, but she did not ask for this war. She defended herself when cornered." He recounted the training he gave her, not to provoke, but to survive. Judge Reynolds nodded thoughtfully. During closing arguments, the prosecutor's voice softened but remained firm. "This is a message. Hate crimes will be prosecuted. No child should live in fear of their classmates." Jake's father wept silently in the back. The judge's verdict came swiftly. "Mr. McConnell, you are sentenced to 4 years in state prison for assault and federal hate crime violations. Carson received 3 years. Logan, for his cooperation and remorse, 18 months in juvenile detention." The courtroom erupted in whispers. Ayanna exhaled slowly. Outside, protesters held signs. "Justice for Ayanna," they chanted. Her father wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "This is just the beginning," he said. Months later, Ayanna was elected student body president. Her speech was clear: "We will stand together. We will speak up. And we will change the story for every black student who walks these halls." Her classmates cheered, and as she looked across the auditorium, she saw hope. Because this time, she wasn't alone.